Good evening, y'all. It's Tuesday, February 14th, 2023. This is uh, evening and weekends class Delta, um, and I'm Jordan. Today, we are going to build upon what we did yesterday, which was setting up the wine API using Django REST framework. Um, all we're going to do to it is utilize some tools also provided by Django REST framework and show you how, using a quick little serializer, how we can put authentication into our application. That authentication type will be token type, which is a solid way to do things. It's not the only way, the best way, whatever, but it is a good way, especially when interacting React via Django, or rather Django and React together. That's what I just said. We will be using authentication via token. Cool. So I have cloned down the Wine API version from here because mine was heavily modified. So possible it's going to have one or two words different than what I expected, but I might be totally fine. So let's get started. We've got our main wine project here. We've got the application wine API here. Won't be touching that much, but we are going to be creating an accounts app within this. So we'll have two apps, wine API, accounts, and then the main project called wines. To do that, as we all probably know, Django admin, start project. Trying to get smart with it, and this takes longer. And we'll call it accounts. There it is, it's populated accounts. And it's got all the stuff as we would expect in it from any application in Django. Let's go ahead and add that to our installed applications in settings.py. All right, so is this backwards than what I expected to be? No, it's not. Okay, that's perfect. That's what I want to see. So all we're going to do is copy down. Probably copy that one down. Add a comma. I'm going to add .auth token to this. I'm not positive if that's necessary or if that's not already wrapped up like this, but I imagine it is necessary. But I'm going to keep this one here as well. There we go. Then really wherever you want, we're going to set this environment variable REST framework. This will be setting our default permission classes. REST framework.permissions is authenticated. It's going to basically protect every single resource on the Django application. Everywhere you hit is going to need you to be authenticated. If you're not, it's going to kick you away. So remember, in the past, we've had to, say, hey, this route will not let you here unless you're authenticated. This one, that one. We're just saying, hey, all routes, everything you want to do, you want to touch this API, you got to be authenticated. No freebies. We're going to set the default authentication classes to token authentication. That's what we're going to be doing. And that's what it's going to be looking for. So it's going to be looking for a token. All of our routes. So if you're making a request to a route, a get, a put, a pull, post, not a pull, a put, a post, a delete, you're going to need a token, and it's going to need to be a token that Django says is cool. So that's all this is doing. Any questions about that? All right. Moving forward. In the projects URL.py, close that up, close that up. Don't want to see those right now. Let's open up the wines project and its URLs. We're going to add a single line there. We're not going to copy the whole thing. It's just going to be this bit here. No, oh, shoot. Not all that, just that bit. I like to have trailing commas in my list. We are adding an endpoint, a route, for accounts. So if anything we're doing with accounts, was as you can probably guess, is going to be the authentication side of this. Sign in, add token, or sorry, get tokens, sign up. Technically, we're not really. I think we're just doing sign up and get tokens, but you would, have sign in as well here. Everything's being handled that's logging in or authentication related. It's going to be going here. Next, in accounts. So the new accounts application we've created. What's going on? Why is there accounts within accounts? Did I do something weird? What the heck?
You did start project.
Did I say start
Was
project?
that intended? Oh, okay.
No, that was not
You
intended. Gosh, oh, goodness gracious. Man, how much is that going to screw this up? Copy paste. I got smart with it. And you all watch me do it. Blue Falcons, every one of you. All right. How we get a proper look at accounts here? Uh, Man, that would have been a pain. Cool. Within accounts, let's create a file. This is going to be our urls.py. Why does it do this every time? I swear. Boy, we weren't meant to click the screen. We are going to add these here. Some of these might look familiar to you. Some of them might not. Let's explain what we pasted here. We're going to add a sign up view. That's probably, not a surprise. We've done this before when we were doing authentication with Django. The only new thing truly is this REST framework auth token dot views. This is a tool we're going to get from the REST framework. It's going to be it's a means of getting an auth token. So if you hit this endpoint, it spits a token out, a token that Django knows about. It's logged in Django's application somewhere, that somewhere being your database. We don't have to think about this much. We don't tell it to go there, but it is doing it behind the scenes. So when Django receives a token, it checks its own database and is going to say, yeah, that's a good token, or no, that's not a good token. And it's going to do that every single time we try and interact with Django via its routes, because we did set these guys. Every time we poke it, are you authenticated? Are you authenticated via token authentication? Those are the questions it's going to be asking every time we're hitting it. Yep, this is a freebie from DRF. Source code there if you want to check it out. Let's not do that. Why is all? I'm a little curious as to why this was throwing so much red. I bet I need to. I wonder if this requirements.txt doesn't have everything I need in there. Yes. I don't know why it's red. Okay. All right. So we talked about this sign up view as view. We need to create that. Let's go to our views within accounts and copy paste this and talk about it a little bit. REST framework generics. We're going to use the create API view within our class. So we established this class, the sign up view. This is something we've done before, setting classes that generate views. And then we're using this create API view. From there, what else do we have? User, very important. We are going to be pulling the users that we're getting from Django built-in serializers. We are going to import our sign up serializer from serializers.py, which we have not yet created. And REST framework permissions allow any, that's going to basically say, hey, allow full permissions, everything, anything you need. This token is going to give you full access to our application. So sign up. We're basically going to be able to, give me a second. Sign up serializer is going to be the serializer we create. We talked about this. I guess we're pulling all of the users when we go to sign in. So we will need to be able to see all the users and then verify whether one is created or not. If we do need to create a user, we are overriding the built-in create user method. And the reason we're doing that is explained down here. So we can hit the sign up route. Oh, it's because I think we're hashing these. Yep. So perform create is already built into Django. We're going to be overriding it. And you'll see how this kind of all works really cleanly once it's done. All we need to do to create a user is to hit this endpoint, provide it with a user, provide it with a password, and then it's going to create a user for us using those. That's all it needs when you attempt to sign up. It's going to automatically create a user, but it's only going to add these things. It's not going to create all the other cool stuff that a user would normally create or be created with. Our serializers, we're referencing it here. Let's go ahead and build that. That is so wild to me that it jumps. Oh, model serializer, we need that. We always use that. Django user, we need our users. We need to be able to pull in our users. So the model is going to be user, which we did not create. We just piggyback one of the functions. The only two fields are going to be username and password. We could do a lot more than this. We don't need to do a lot more than this, honestly. You really don't want to piggyback too much stuff onto your user if you can help it. A username and a password is plenty, and that's what we're going to get away with. This looks somewhat familiar to what we've done before when we've done authentication. The big piece here is we're not even going to provide that form. Remember, this is just an API. We're not providing templates, so we're not providing forms. We're not really providing anything for the user to interact directly with to create a user to sign up. But we are going to be able to catch it. It'll be up to our application. It'll be up to React to build out that form and send that object, this user object that we want to see. That's truly it. Let's see if this runs now. I need to do that. That's right. Okay. No, nothing found. That is all right. Ooh, I wonder if I need to put, yeah, I might need to put some wines in here. Actually, no, we really don't need to. So what URLs do we have available to us? We've got admin. We know about that. We've got wines, which I think that's supposed to be wines API, but that's okay. Which we can't see. Remember, we said you need to be an authenticated user. We just tried to hit an endpoint. We can't see wines. We can't see any of these, specific wines in here. It's just going to keep telling us you're not authenticated. How does one get authenticated? Well, we have accounts here, but I don't think that's what that wants. I think we need to post here to get us an account created, and then post as well to get a token. Following the curriculum, it wants us to use Postman. So in order to see the wines, you'll need to first sign up, then get a token, then include the token when you request a resource. The way it expects that is in the headers with authorization type being a token. But since we have set up the Django REST framework, we do have the ability to see some of these endpoints. Let's see. Actually, is it gonna, forget if this blows up on me or not. Sign, is it that or is it the underscore? Oh, it's no tutorial. So sign up. This is just going to tell us, hey, that method is not allowed. So obviously it probably wants a post. we could post here directly. Um, but I feel like that was a little confusing. I'm actually going to use Insomnia because it looks like Postman and it might be a little bit better tool for this. We can do either or, but I've got them set up already. So looking at our REST framework here, what is this telling us? This allows post requests. That's all. So I know if I want to go to sign up, I need to send a post request. What does it want to see? Well, we already know. Looking at our view, it is going to use the serializer. It's talking about this username, this password from the serializer. Let's go to the serializer. It should be duplicated. We just need fields, username, and password. So this is looking for a data object with a fields of username and password. That's all it really cares about. And then it'll create a user for us. So let's give it that and see what happens. I think I will have to update this because, yep, I was looking for wine API. This is wines now. Um, that's fine though. So to sign up, what this really truly wants is a post request to this right here. Localhost accounts sign up, and it needs an object that has a username and a password key, and then really whatever. We don't have any rules on any validation. But if I post, I got a 201 that went through. It says it's created. A new resource has been created. So I should then ideally be able to get a token. Let's see what that wants. Is that the right way? Sorry. Forget if it's underscore or not. Oh, yep, that's right. So let's see this. Well, it's doing this because we don't really have a get. This is also going to require a post. But let's send it a post. We know that accounts, its URLs are they're the same. They're both going to be requiring this post request. Get token is going to need a signed in user, or rather a real user. So let's poke at it with a real user that we know has been created. So I've done the sign up. Now I'm going to get a token. What I'm going to be posting is, again, this exact same user. This is going to work because I have signed up already. There is a user in my Django application named Jordan2 with a password of 123123. This is a preview. We shouldn't see that already. I was testing it. Don't look at that. This should go through. So when I send it, the response is 200, and we get this object back, which is a key of token, and this is the value of that token. So now we have a token. We should be able to do anything we want with this application now that we have this token. We just need to plug it into our request. So to get wines, this probably is going to need to be updated. And that is not necessary. To get wines, we are going to have to feed it this header. This is just going to be a GET request to wines. The only difference is now is I've got a header type called authorization, and it's got a token here. Notice that token does not match the one I just got. That's probably because that token is outdated. Let's copy. Let's copy. Oh my goodness, what is, please give it to me. Copy that. And then in our GET request, authorization, that's the key. Here's the value. The value needs to be the word token with an actual token pasted. This is the way Django expects to see it. Cool. So now we've got our authorization, we've got our token, and let's run a send. We'll probably get, yep, just that. So that worked. That was a 200. Notice this updated because I hit the newer database. I was hitting. This was what was there was left over from when I was playing with it earlier. these are the wines in our database right now, um, that we can see, like we could yesterday, but we need that token now. Um, if you recall from yesterday, this is set up the way I expect it to. We could look at wines and then we could look them up by their ID. So let's create a new request. New request. This is going to be a get a wine, whatever type. It'll be a get. We'll create it. The API, or sorry, the endpoint for that is going to be here. And we'll just make this one wine number one. So I'm just going to hit send. Is this going to work?
I guess it depends if you lose the token.
I didn't lose the token, but I am not using it, right?
Oh, okay. So it won't work then.
Yeah, ideally it won't hurt. There we go. Yep, authentication credentials were not provided. That's because I just sent a GET request. I didn't put anything in the header. I've got empty headers here on Insomnia. So what I would need to do is copy this. New header is going to be the authorization header, and then I'm going to have to copy that token that I've already got. And there we go. We got 1-1. I don't know how long this token lasts. I think it's probably at least for the session. If I were to kill my server and run it again, I bet you it won't work, or it's timed. I need to actually verify how long these tokens last by default. That's something I just now thought about that I probably ought to know. But that's it. That's authorization using Django REST framework. It's very easy to set up, and it works well using token type authentication. Um, you can kind of boilerplate a significant amount of that, and it just work out of the box for your application. If you want to use Django REST framework, if you want to use its token authentication method, if you got a better way to do it, you got different ways you want to do it, feel free to. Um, but I talked line by line kind of as we were working through this, and we got it set up pretty darn quickly, and it's working as expected. I will run through one more time, and then we'll open up some questions. So I created this accounts app. All we're doing with it is providing these URLs, the get token URL and the sign up URL. The get token is going to be built or using the obtain auth token function provided by the REST framework. Sign up is going to be using the sign up view that we create. Sign up view is going to have access to all the users. It's going to use the sign up serializer and allow full permissions. That's all fine and dandy. We are overriding the create to create a plain old user just like this. Requires a username, requires a password, uses the serializer to kind of organize that data because we do want to be able to receive in this JSON. So serializer is going to take that object, use the fields username and password, and just make a simple model out of it. It goes back to the view. If that works, we're going to have a validated data for username and password, and we're just straight up going to create a user in the database. Once we've got that, this URL for get token, which is coming out of REST framework, will be available to us because we are going to have a user who's actually in the database. When you hit that with a post request of an authenticated user, or sorry, not authenticated user, but a validated user, so it's going to have what we said it needs to have, these username and password fields, and it's going to have to be a real one. It's going to have to be verified, validated, but that all kind of happens behind the scenes here. it's going to return to us a response that says, with a key of token and a value of the new token. Because we have set up rules saying, hey, pretty much everything on this application now requires a token. Are we going to let you in? We need a token that Django has given us. So to hit any URL from any of our applications, so these guys right now is all we have set up, you're going to have to provide a token. And the way that Django wants to see that is by creating a header, the key of authorization, and the value being the word token, capitalized. Pretty sure that's very important. I don't think it'll work without the capitalized C. Space, and then the token. How you do that normally, from React, you would send a post request with a user object. Django would then respond to you with, hey, you made a user. Next, you would send it hey, give me that token. Here's my user. Giving it that data object of the user. Django will see that. It will look at its database, say, yep, that's a real user, and respond with a token. You capture that. You save it wherever you think you should save it for the time. Maybe session storage is a good place for that. I think a lot of applications tend to do that. Somewhere not super permanent, and somewhere that's just not going to go away immediately. You wouldn't want to save that in state if you're hopping around pages because you'd lose your token, unless you want to re-authenticate every single time you want it to, every single time you want to make a request. Put it somewhere. Put it somewhere on your React application while it's running to kind of piggyback all your requests. All your requests from then on to Django are going to be just, as you've done before, they're going to be fetch requests or Axios requests, but they're going to have this header built in your header section of your post. You're going to need to have this authorization bit. What that really truly looks like, I think I can pull up a pretty quick example. If you were to do that on news site, and you suddenly want a news site hitting your wines API. Oh, this one didn't have a post on it, does it? That's right. That's part of the actual. Gosh darn. Well, what would that look like? That's in the correct one. You would attach this method type of post, and you would need a header. So I'm not going to actually edit this, but I will make an update here while we're all looking at it. Your method type would be post. Your body would be an object, which actually would look something like this. Username equals Jordan, and then password is don't look at my password. And your header here would need to include authorization, and then it's token here. Obviously, that's hard coded. You would probably do something along the lines of setting this in session storage. Oh, off the top of my head, I forget what session storage looks like, but this is kind of being pseudo code. It would be something like os.session storage .get, something like that. And then, yeah, it'd be like that. Although I kind of mixed these up. We don't need the token to do that post request, but if you're picking up what I'm putting down with, you need to add these headers here to any GET request you'd be making. Nope, not that. So in one of these, we would need that. Is that confusing, everyone? I feel like that was maybe helpful, but now I'm thinking about it. Maybe that's too much abstraction.
Did you say you don't need to put in that token on the post request? It would just happen at a different stage of using the
Yeah,
site?
yeah. Remember when I'm doing these post requests, I don't have a token yet, so I couldn't give it a token. These post requests that I'm making now, some of my endpoints might require tokens in the future. Like if I wanted to, so for accounts, it's kind of a different thing. But if I wanted to add, uh, sorry, not there. If I wanted to add an endpoint where I can create a new wine, which we do actually have, if I wanted to post a new wine, I would probably need that authorization token as well. So like yesterday, we were creating new wines by just creating a wine object, which was fine. Um, but that would now need a token. So we need to be a signed in user. We need to receive a token, and then you need to be throwing in the header uh, with the authorization key with your token before you're going to be allowed to perform any kind of actions on your Django app. Does that make sense?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Are there any questions about what I've shown here? Not too much new stuff, truly. The only things that we're adding to the pile that you haven't seen before were this super cool environment variable object dictionary. Um, Piggyback in this user create, which may or may not be completely necessary, but it's good for showing what we were doing. Um, what's that wrong URL? Using this obtain auth token function here and just serving the request to create a user. We're not providing a form that'll be up to React. React would create that form saying, hey, you want to sign up, come to this page, use my sign up component. Here's a username, here's a password, provide them to me. React would then take that form, pick out the pieces it wants, create a JSON object that looks exactly like this, fire that off to Django. It would then receive, it's either 200 response, or if it was making that token, it would return this token response. And then it'd be up to React, to then have that token and do something with it. There's a lot of different things you could do with it. You could save it as an environment variable. I don't know if that's the best way to, but that's option. Throw in session storage is always popular if you're okay with the users being able to see it. But the thing is, nothing in React is truly safe. It's all viewable by the user. So this token expires, and that's why that's okay. So don't print it to the page or something like that, but just know as soon as you get that token back from Django in your React application, you can kind of relax a little bit when it comes to like, oh, I need to keep my token super duper safe. Like, It's not that safe now. React has it. You are authenticated though, so we know you're a good guy. But yeah. Questions, comments, concerns about Django REST framework authentication?